guys can hear me. Welcome everybody to the One Love Community live stream. Today we are going to adjust the volume here. I can't adjust volume on eclectic ear food. Oh, dude.
Yeah. You want me to kill eclectic ear food, eh?
I'm just going to turn your volume down so I could talk over top on my end. There you go. Welcome everybody to the One Love Community stream. Sunday, hour long or so feedback with developers. Today we got Tech Coder with us, wanting to show us a little bit about what he's been working on. Gonna let music run for a few more minutes and then we'll see who's all here. Let me grab a coffee. I will be right back, guys. Please enjoy the eclectic ear food by the dude.
Hey, you said it right that time.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get it backwards. Actually, I had to read it.
Yeah. You want some coffee, that's why.
Exactly. I need coffee. Be right back.
أنا مغني على الحب أنا مغني على الحب أنا مغني على الحب لكن ما عنديش قلب أنا مغني على الحب أنا مغني على الحب أنا مغني على الحب لكن ما عنديش قلب أنا نهار في الانقار ترقب في القطار لابس كسوة وعامل سشوار نوزر روحي في البلار هكا وشابة خمرية لابسة روب هلالية قالت لي بربي وخي وينو نجي الحب من وقتها مخي تقلب وبديت نغني على الحب لكن ما عنديش قلب أنا نهار في الكوليزيه quatre épingles j'étais tiré même la cravate bien colorée les chaussures toutes nos pieds بردالي مين تضرب فيا كرمة شريطة علي يضر فيها فصعد بيا رصتني في البرنش مضروب وبديت نغني على الحب وبديت نغني على الحب وبديت نغني على الحب لكن ما عنديش قلب صب
Alrighty.
لكن ما عنديش صب
Ooh, we got a full house, guys. There's 3 of us. That counts as a full house, right? Well, I guess looks like Tech Coder is ready to go. If you could pause that music for us, dude, that would be awesome.
up here. So, okay, I have no idea where to start, honestly.
Well, I can start a little bit with talking about all that has been going on lately. I'm pretty impressed with both yourself and Brish Tit stepping up, really kind of trying to knock through some things. You guys got the test net going, right? So everything that we got going on right now, you know, there's the DTube.club domain name, UI testing categories, but under that same domain name, now with the port 3015 at the end, you could check out our test net where we're, I believe, testing vote tip currently. There's the obvious upcoming Alive protocol live streaming on DTube. We got the node patch by TechCoder, which should have been long implemented into the GitHub, increasing sync time specifically. Partial enabling of the DTC gateway. I'm still just going to say don't use it. It's only partially working, so don't use it. And we've had some discussion inside the One Love Roundtable about the potential for 3Speak and DTube incorporations. It's pretty well where we're at. TechCoder saying he might be able to bring up an API during the show once his replay finishes, which comes back to that quick update. Oh, you got no video, no stream. Let me.
Yeah, the testnet hasn't really been stable, to be honest. Like it kind of halted like at least 3 times, like 10 minutes ago. And right now it is running okay-ish. So let me share this guy application. Okay, my terminal, here it goes. So this is a test net. Currently there's only 3 accounts producing blocks, and I think it just halted, and then like after like a minute or two it will probably come back. It's just not stable at the moment, as there's only 3 of us producing, 3 accounts producing. I am running 2 accounts. Bridge is running 1 account. I might probably bring up more accounts. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm intending to bring mine up as well. I don't know how to dual boot a node yet. So Brish Tit said he was gonna try write something up for us so we could get in on that. Like me and Koala would be able to help with this. Koala would love to, I believe.
So
what do you think the stability is relative to? Is it issue of stability because of no nodes, or is it the change that has been made?
Yeah, it's due to lack of nodes, because there are only 3 block producers, as we need more than 2/3 to be online in order for the chain to get going. So let's say if one of it suddenly disconnects for no reason, it can just halt like what is happening right now. And let's say if I do a mine block, you can see it is not working at the moment. And even though if I do the same over the other one, yeah, it doesn't really work. So right now it appears to be like 2 nodes out of 3 nodes that's online, which is not more than 2/3. It's like exactly 2/3. Therefore it just got stuck at block 36,860. So we need more nodes on the testnet for sure.
Yeah, I'll definitely try get mine working on that this weekend. I'm actually working on setting my studio up again with another server for this purpose. So I hope to actually have a server you guys could use at my home location as like an extra. You and Brish Tit, whoever's working on this One Love development, will have access to it. You could just use it as an extra for such cases. You could spin up an extra node. Oh yeah, this is huge. I'm actually really stoked about this. In terms of like what DTube is doing, let's explain this so people might understand a little bit better. People are looking at a screen right now. They see code. They don't know, like when I showed up on blockchain, I would be looking at this and like, what the hell does this mean? Mongo transaction. What the hell's Mongo? What does it have to do with DTube? Well, you're looking at the node spit out. This is what we see as a leader from the node. This is telling us blocks are being confirmed, they're not being confirmed, tells us our times, errors, that kind of idea. And it is a secondary chain to the regular DTube chain, thus the concept testnet. We're testing changes on the blockchain level of the platform, which will relate to changes on how the economics work, how the user experience is, and the things that we're actually able to change, right? So as we're able to test different things on the testnet, we will be able to prove that certain changes are safe, which then will allow us to expand and change further things, expand the economic model and whatever from there forward, with the working testnet as example of where we're going, instead of taking a blind leap of faith and ending up with chain halts because of errors and the like. So this is the process that happened to create DTube in the first place. Now we're trying to take the same process to refine it more.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot of lesson learned from what happened on Steam hard fork, the infamous Steam hard fork 20 fiasco, where basically only whales are able to transact. So we are trying to avoid all that. And also some stuff went wrong with the delegation in the following hard fork, which is hard fork 21. That's how we got hard fork 22 due to the delegation issues. And yeah, it's just hard forks are kind of risky to execute, especially when there's lack of testing, and this is why we are doing this today. So we are basically putting it out one by one. So this is a tip vote. Then after that, maybe we will have a live protocol. Then we will have maybe multi-signature account support on another hard fork. So let's do this one by one, not 3 things at a go. That is more likely to break things.
Yeah, exactly. That was one thing I always thought was weird about the hard forks on Steam, was it always seemed like to be like a big collaboration of all the different projects trying to work together. And I always felt like it had that feeling of politics where you put a bill into Congress, and by the time it ends up at the end of Congress, it has the idea, the original idea is still there, but by the time everybody gets all their 2 cents in, the actual outcome has a completely different result than what the original idea intended. It's good that we're going to tackle it one at a time. Like literally, okay, well, everybody loves this idea of vote tip. It may not solve the problem, but it gives me the ability to send people my VP as coins. I love it. So let's implement it. And from there, how do we evolve on that, right? Has there been much discussion about like the actual rewards model yet? I haven't seen too much.
This tip vote is kind of, I would say that this is an improvement in the economics. It does not really fix the economic system 100%, and this is unlikely going to happen ever, because because when you try to fix one thing, chances are that a completely separate problem will show up. So so for any kind of change that we propose to make, there has to be testing for sure, and we have to evaluate exactly what kind of new problems that might potentially arise as a result.
Yeah.
So
that is a great way of putting it. What potential problems could arise? I was thinking about like an author rewards pool, and the fact that we have forced self-voting makes me think that if we were to try incorporate like an author rewards pool, we would need to account for users not being able to self-vote anymore. And it would completely throw our entire economic model for a loop. For the concept is you buy token to be able to ensure your rewards on your content, is kind of how some people are viewing it. But I wonder, like, how would eliminating self-voting do to the way the economics work? Is if you could self-vote yourself, you'd be ensuring your author rewards, so then it would be like no need to vote anyone else. But if you remove the self-vote, it forces curation of others. It becomes a proper supportive system. It really seems like that one author rewards thing throws a huge complication, because at chain level, you're forced to self-vote to get the rewards on the content. So it definitely, you need to really run through all the potential abuse that could happen, right? And that's what we're all trying to circumvent, is abuse of the systems that we're creating.
Yeah, so here there's as a test net, like it was late just now. I need to bring the folder up so that I can bring up the APIs and stuff here. So let me find the mainnet blog where it went dead. So I have no idea.
Interesting days. All of this comes from major concern. I might add that we've had some communication with Hyman Danger as of late, I hear.
Yes, but he still has one thing to do, is to get at least 100,000 DTube minted to the deposit address, and he still has not done that yet. I sent him 4 things to do. One is to reset the 6 airdrop, which he did. 2 is to, I believe, to bring up to replay the at DTube node because it was missing. And 3 is to mint DTube on the ETH deposit address. 4 is to fix a Facebook sign up. So those 4 important things, and also I reminded him like at least twice or thrice to send me my contributor share, and so far I have not received that.
Yeah. I'm going to take the place of giving him benefit of doubt, and praying that he is doing well and wishing him well. And I'm sorry for the
Yeah.
complications you're facing with this, but you know where I stand. He very well may just absolutely need time to himself. And it's terrible
Yeah.
timing, absolutely terrible timing. But when you're not in a great state, you're not useful to your project. So I'm in danger. I wish you the well. I hope you get better and that you see us as friendly forces trying to help you and not an enemy. I put myself in that place often.
Yeah.
I'll say the thing, like I'll call you out on your bullshit and all that kind of shit, but like I'm a friendly force.
Yeah. I mean, basically the DTube team right now consists of only two people, which is Adrian or I'm in danger or Berg or Stiminator. So the only two people who working on the project, and this is why it has been really slow lately. And both of them are basically like, you know what happened in I'm in danger. Berg, he's super busy with the other secret meme project, which isn't doing well right now also. So there goes me as a dev and now who manages some of their servers and a bunch of other leaders, which other than Breach or perhaps I don't know who else, the rest aren't really doing anything much to move things around. So yeah, we are a bit slow here. So I found the blog, the mainnet blog. So let me find the forwarder is down right now because I need to find that blog and get it to catch up. So 187. So let's see. What? MS? No way. Wait. I did it through PM2. Okay. Start 3. Okay, so the forwarder is up, is catching up. You can see it's starting to rebroadcast. Obviously, there will be failed transactions because the testnet is not a one-to-one. It doesn't copy the mainnet one-to-one. Obviously, it has some discrepancies for sure.
Okay.
So right now it's catching up because I'm using my VPS, which has like 5 milliseconds latency between them, so it is a bit slow over here, but it will eventually catch up with the head block.
Right on.
So see, okay. So next is to bring up the API switcher. So I'm doing this live right now just for you guys to see all the behind the scenes stuff. So no.
I find it kind of amazing.
Yeah.
my understanding of development is pretty minimal, right? So,
Look, I
hey,
have
Brish.
another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you downvote a video, does it not show up on your channel? Let's say I uploaded a controversial video and you downvoted with high VP. Does it not show up in my channel?
Which video? Can you paste the link in the chat?
I think he's
I'm just
asking
asking a
theory.
hypothetical question. So, for example, these guys who are basically against Nanal, their whole point is that why Nanal is downvoting. But what I'm not understanding is, let's say Nanal downvoted something on RT channel, RT International channel.
Okay.
But you can still go to RT International channel and find that video, no? That video is still on RT.
It will still be on chain for sure, and it will still be indexed by all the nodes, but it is just an interface thing where if it detects if the total votes adds up to less than 0 VP, which I think is pretty dumb thing right now, as I think there has to be a certain threshold. So just to get something to -1 VP enough to be hidden or blurred is I think very dumb in my opinion. Anyway, so if it gets below 0 VP, it will just follow whatever user settings, whether to blur, to show it anyway, or to completely hide it.
I think what we should be doing, it should still be on that user's channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
It should still be on that user's channel, but it won't show up on our front page. Correct? I mean, why does it need to be removed from the user's own channel? It just should be removed from our ranking. That way, this whole discussion is gone, because if, let's say, RT International or something uploaded some propaganda video, we don't rank them because it got downvotes. Anybody has right to give downvotes. But if somebody is a follower of that, just go to their channel and watch on your own. Correct? So the thing is, right now, if you downvote, it's being removed from the channel, so there's no way to discover it unless you go to the new video. Even it's removed from the new videos also, right?
No, it blurs in new video. My understanding is it isn't removed. It's just blurred. Unless you have your settings set to hide. So then it will hide anything that has been blurred as well. So I'm looking at the RT International. The channel still shows, right? I can still pull up the channel with all the videos. It's still there. It exists.
Wait. That's what I was asking. Does the videos exist? The ones that's downvoted, do those exist on the channel?
I'll pull it up full screen for you.
Not too sure about this.
There we go. So here is RT International channel. I had to refresh the browser to get the videos to show. But as you can see, the channel is being downvoted on everything. But the videos themselves just blur. It might be my settings. They're not fully hidden. The fully hidden is a setting under settings, right? You go down under settings. You could blur, the negative videos, or you could fully hide, right? And I think that right there, that negative videos should be set to automatically blur.
So that's user's own choice. For example, that will be the choice for the RT International, correct? So
yeah, it's a user choice for sure.
What are the different choice you have there? Blurred, and what other choice you have there?
Hidden. Sorry, my browser's freezing on me now.
There's fully visible, blurred and fully hidden, 3 options for both NSFW and the negative videos.
But you also have the choice to show there. So that means, let's say RT International. Let's say I am RT International and I have chosen show there. That will show the videos, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, throughout the entire front end.
What I'm asking, let's say I am RT International. I uploaded a video. Nanal downvoted me, but I have the show feature there. So if all the other users come to my channel, they will be seeing my videos or not? That's my question. They should be seeing my videos, correct?
They should be. I'm just checking that now. I've selected show and it comes up show.
Exactly. Then what are these guys talking about then?
Their argument is more relevant to the rewards and the fact that it gets hidden from trending and from the news feed relevant to when it gets downvoted. I honestly don't think their argument is about the censorship. I think it's about the rewards, and it's being like projected upon.
It should not be about viewers. If I am a leader, or if I am any user, and if I am a high stake leader, I have the right to downvote whatever I want. That's my individual right. If you are not agreeing with me, then upvote it with higher VPs, right? So by saying that you cannot downvote, because we are not censoring. What I am trying to argue here, this is not censoring. This is basically, but I understand their point, because Nanal has put the blacklist. So Nanal is not doing it manually. He has his bot, which is basically every time RT International is uploading anything, it's basically downvoting it. So that's a separate issue. But what I'm trying to argue here, that we don't have any censoring. You understand what I mean?
Because, it's not censorship because it's still found. Sorry, I just talked over top of you.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. It doesn't count as censorship per se because it's still able to be found and it's up to the user's settings. The point where people start thinking censorship is like the DMCA takedown, but you know, we discussed there, the information is still there, the files still exist. I mean, people with enough knowledge could build a front end to make it viewable if it was taken down off of the original D.tube because we had a request. But the viewpoint of like nano flagging, I do think it's largely centered around the fact that it is a automated system that he's using, and the battle of rewards, right? Watching the Steam and Hive battle over the years, I automatically assume anytime someone is looking at the situation, it's usually the automation that is the problem. It's not really the issue that they're bringing forward, like they're saying censorship. The censorship is the overlying issue that's creating the attention, but the underlying issue is the automation of the process that's creating the problem because it's blind to other users and whatnot, right?
Yes, but now that I understand, that's a separate discussion, because they cannot frame it as censorship, because we are not censoring, because we need to voice them that you need to separate it, because Nanal as a leader, okay, bot problem is automation. What we think, that is a separate thing that needs to be discussed also. But we don't have any censorship, because you can go to the channel if you are because if you are subscribing to RT International, you can always go to your subscription is always there, and you can every day you can go there and you can watch those videos, correct? So it should probably also show up on your subscribe feed. So what we are doing is that on our front page we are not showing. Yeah, if you go to your home page, Just go to the DTube front page. It should be on your subscribed feed, right?
Feed. 16 hours ago. 15. Right there. There he is, right there. Right in my sub feed. Even
Is
though
it blurred
he's...
or is it showing?
It would be a blurred image if I had that set, but I have it set on show for both NSFW and for negative images, or negative posts, pardon me. So I could see it and I can watch it all fine.
Anything can be watchable. So first of all, what I'm saying that this needs to be very clearly specified. Even if it's blurred, even if it's porno, you can watch it. Nobody can, it's not that video is being stopped to watch. All we are doing is that we are blurring or we are hiding it because we want an environment where things, controversial things, propaganda, or those, or like abusive things, we don't promote. And the other issue is that if you are getting downvoted by someone, that's also a right of someone else who does not like your video. Now, if they're abusing you with high VP, that's a separate discussion. Or if you're using a bot, that's a separate discussion. Do you understand my point? So I think people are, because of these guys talking, this is like a misrepresentation. This is not censorship. Because I also did not understand it properly. Now that I think, this is what it is, right? Do you not agree?
No, I totally agree. And it's something that kind of dumbfounded me because most of the people that are bringing up the concern about censorship come from Steam, Hive. They have background in other chains. I found it always kind of confusing how the two concepts of you know, the how the platform is representing your content and then the flags that come in, and how it ends up presenting, you know, it not the same problem. You know, they're kind of lumping two separate ideas together and being like, oh, we got issue with flags and censorship. It's causing censorship. Lump those together, but it's not really true.
That is a misrepresentation. That is a misrepresentation, and we should speak about that. But also, I think I'm not completely supporting Nanal either because he probably runs 10 bots. The fact that he created a blacklist because he wanted to automate it. So what happens is, like, anytime any user is in his blacklist, if that user, even if is uploading a legitimate videos, his bot is not smart enough to understand the content of the video, right? It will just downvote it. So he, I mean, he either needs to use the either needs to stop using the bot, or like after every time a bot downvotes something, he needs to basically reevaluate it, that whether the video he has downvoted is really should be downvoted, because a RT International may also upload a legitimate video which his bot might have downvoted because he just blacklisted them. So that's what I think they are complaining. Their complaint is legit on the end, is that because some videos may be legit. It's not that that's a news channel. It's not that everything they're uploading is controversial. But anyway, but we have a way to discuss. But at the same time, if I don't like a video, even if you, for example, I am politically very liberal, you can be politically very conservative. For example, you can be against gay rights. Now, if you make a video bashing gay people, I have the right to downvote you. That's my voice. And if I have high stake, I will be downvoting with high stake because I don't want other people to see it. And if you are saying that I cannot do it, then you are not on your point. I have my right to say, you have your right to say. We should both have the say with our votes, with our comments. So nobody should, it's not censorship. We're just voicing our opinions. So what they're talking is nonsense. It's not censorship. But whether Nanal doing it with bot is a sort of abuse, that's a separate discussion, because maybe that's something we need to discuss with Nanal, that he should not be blacklisting a user and downvoting every content they upload, right? Because every content may not be something. Maybe that's where they are right, that Nanal is downvoting right now every content, if I understand it.
If I may add on that subject, as you said, like you're using bots to downvote. That's just abuse to my feeling too. I download stuff I don't want to see. I don't want to see others around me. I don't care about the situations of politics or anything. To me, important is that people are respectful to one each other, to oneself and to each other. And if I see missing respect, I try to avoid. I try that others don't have to get to see the missing respect against themselves. You know, that's important to me.
Yeah,
And I'm using a platform I can upvote or download. I don't care of how much VP. You give me the possibility to download. I download, and I don't need to explain that. And nobody has the right to be offended by that, because the platform is from the beginning. I used it offering an upvote or a download. So that's not even a point to discuss. If I don't like the being downvoted, I don't use the platform.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So upvoting and downvoting both using bot is something we don't envision for any platform, because we want it to be a bot free. But what I think the rationale that leaders have been using is that because everybody has limited time, right? So the rationale is that if you already know certain kind of activities to be wrong, or certain kind of channels doing certain kind of things, they're just automating that process. And for example, on Instagram, for example, I don't know how active you guys are on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. Their bot detection is very good. I actually use bot not basically to abuse, just to understand that how the technology works. And they actually can detect bots. They have bots to detect bots, so they have like anti-bots, and they're very good. If I run my bot, let's say for 2 hours or 3 hours or 24 hours, they detect my account and they actually block my account for like next 7 days. So actually, it's most people who use bots on Instagram, actually they get actually it goes against them. What I'm saying is that sometimes you need to use bots, because anything we run on the server, bot is basically automation. Now the question, but at the same time, I understand that downvoting, because from user's perspective, when somebody is upvoting it, in your mind psychologically you think, oh, that person has watched my video, they liked me and they upvoted me. And if somebody downvotes, that also has a psychologically negative effect, that people are not liking me. But if you are doing it with a bot, that actually defeats that purpose. And I totally understand it, and I'm not for bots. But there sometimes, because we have very small user, I mean, I was always against bots. I talk with Heymin. I think they basically, I understand their rationale. They're understanding, oh, if it's porno, if certain user is always uploading porno, you can, like Nanal or Heymin, we are only like 3-4 people. You cannot always sit in front of the laptop waiting for porno videos coming and then downvote them, right? If we had like a very active user base or verifiers, like who are like always working together, then every time a new video comes, they watch it and they upload, downvote it. I think that's going to be the future, that when our community will grow, we no longer need bots. But what I'm explaining is that was the rationale, that okay, because we are just growing and we don't want all these bad propaganda videos, or immoral videos or animal abusing videos or child pornography, and if we can detect that certain users are doing it again and again, we just automate it so that they get downvoted. And of course, any action you take, that will backfire, and that's what's happening right now, if you understand what's happening. So I don't think that Heymin or Nanal, Nanal is overdoing it, but Heymin, at least I know that he's not for bots.
No.
So I'm not
Did you
heavily...
see the message there from Tech about that? Sorry to interrupt, but I think that little clip image he posted is right on point. Hyman Danger message. If you see any automation winning the curation game, let me know. I think Nano falls into that category currently with his flagging curation.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that message was posted on the general chat on October last year. So that was like a few days after the mainnet launch. And now we are on March 2021, and we have Nano's bots basically winning the curation game.
It's winning the curation game. After saying all this, I have actually recently gone through the economy. It's a very simplified economy. All it's doing, so the winner share, the way we are calculating, it needs to be much more nuanced. For example, right now, the economic model is just a function of the votes. It should be if it's only a function of the votes, of course a bot will abuse it. It needs to be a function of the vote. It needs to be a function of the time that user has spent. It needs to be a function of the how many subscribers that user has. It needs to be a function of a lot of different variables that actually determine the quality or the reputation of the content itself, and also the content creators itself. And what I mean, like, it's fine what we experimented, but we will have to improve it. We'll have to think about it, because it's easy to have such simplified model and we experimented with it, but now that we are seeing different kind of patterns and behaviors, we should be thinking that, okay, how can we improve it? I mean, that's the nature. We should have improvement proposals. Maybe we'll make mistakes again, we'll improve again. We need to have that mindset of adaptability, that it should not be that, okay, we have created something and that needs to go forever, right? If there's some problem, we can improve in some way, of course we should. And hopefully our test net, that's why I was for the test net and test blockchain, so that we can basically see that, okay, I'm saying that it needs to be a function of time, or I'm saying that it needs to be a function of number of subscribers, or I'm saying another idea that I had is that right now, for example, we go to a video, whether we watch it or not, somebody upvotes, how does we know that that person really watched that video? Maybe we can it's easy to see, like, we can have a timer. Is it not possible to detect? Because right now, if you see on YouTube, every video, YouTube even remembers what time stamp I left the video. If I open it again, it starts from that specific time, right? That means YouTube actually is tracking that how much what time frame I am in. Actually, we need to have that too. That way we know that, okay, this is a 30-minute, for example, Duke's today's this discussion we are having, Duke's video is like 2 hour long. So if what I'm saying, that our voting should be a function of that how much time you spent on that specific content. I'm saying, like, that's a complex, but we can add different level of complexity. And I'm not saying that complex things are always good, but if we do so, our curation will be much more better, hopefully. Yeah. But if we do it in the right way.
Yeah, I agree.
So the reason I am saying that unless we do so, if our model is very simple, it will be easily hackable also. A hacker will also find an easy way to just hack it, because you can just arbitrarily do some stuff like.
Yeah, tech mentioning scalability needs to be under consideration as well.
Yep.
That's a big issue that faces all chains.
Because like we cannot scale even transactions. Simply like what happens, like even if we have 1,000 users, like let's say 1,000 users votes at the same time right now on you. Let's say right now that we have streaming. Let's say TechCoder is doing streaming, right? And that means 1,000 users are watching the stream. What if 1,000 users likes a video at the same time? So that will basically will be unprocessable. So what I think, one proposal that I was thinking is we should have delayed transaction. So I mean, right now we already have a queue, but we can think about a much more delayed form of things.
Yeah. I actually was talking with someone that was saying that delayed transactions and the way that the chain communicates may be the solution to the rewards argument, where what we're doing now is everything is, as you vote, it's printed and used, and there's no way, like, you can't remove your vote, you can't adjust your vote, you can't, you know, the argument of curation ends. You know, you make your play, you're like, okay, I think this video deserves rewards, I'm going to vote it. That's the end of your play. You made your play. You can't do anything further. Someone comes in behind you, flags you. It's like, okay, well, now I got to go try find resources, somebody else to revote the video because I got flagged. And it's like, I can't do anything myself. I would have to try expand, right? But I may have not used all my VP, right? So if I could remove my vote and then revote, then I would be able to account, and it would become an actual battle, right? Where it's not just, I think based on where we're at, this is what I need to do, but I would actually be able to respond interactively with the people that are flagging content inappropriately or voting content inappropriately, rather than it having to be a one-time deal. And I think that's that delayed sort of thing that you're talking about, where it would be, you would have like almost kind of how Steam has it now, where you have the week-long question mark of what's happening with rewards until it's all paid out. But it's not really the payment that you're waiting on. It's the collaboration of all the votes coming together to create the idea of what is actually happening with the rewards for that post. And then from there, it is confirmed and paid out.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea, and we should already, me and TechCoder will definitely make like a proposal for it. I think, yes, that will enable us to even remove votes. So let's say the simplest possible idea we can think of. Anybody upvotes that transaction will wait 1 day. Okay, that will be processed 24 hours from now. All it will be there is that that will be just recorded. So we'll have a huge transaction pool, and it will have a timestamp. Every transaction get processed 24 hours from now. I'm just saying arbitrarily. It doesn't have to be 24 hours. It can be 6 hours. It can be 2 days. But within that 24 hours, you can remove it. So if you just remove it, if you click it again, it will ask like, do you want to remove your vote? You can remove it. So basically, the idea is every transaction get processed 24 hours from now. It can be 6 hours, it can be whatever time. We can just make it a parameter that actually will. And also we can do it even with comments also. For example, comments will be a little difficult. Let's say somebody comment, it's easy for the voting one. No, I think okay, okay, now that I think, it's a little complicated than that, because let's say I upvote something. From a user's perspective, I want to see that on front end. So if it is not going to the blockchain, right now our front end will not show it. So if we make it delayed, that means it is not going to the blockchain, but our front end still needs to show. So that means the front end needs to communicate with the transaction pool also. So it may be a little complicated than I initially thought. Takecoder, do you have any proposal along that line? What do you think?
I was just working on the API, the testnet API stuff, so I didn't really listen much on that.
Oh, so what we were discussing, let's say we decide that somebody make an upvote that is a voting transaction. If we want to have a delayed transaction, let's say we make a decision that every upvote that happens, it will be processed let's say 3 hours from the moment it was created. Right now it's instantaneous, right? So how can we make it to be delayed? But another level of complexity, not only delayed to go into the blockchain, what if on the front end we want it instantaneously? We want, let's say somebody upvotes, we want to show it instantaneously, but it will go in the blockchain 3 hours from now. That actually allows the user to remove the upvote within that 3 hours, or it can be 1 day or something. Do you think it's possible on a blockchain? We need to track.
Technically, I don't really think so. I mean, when a transaction is in a mempool, it just basically remains there. It is not in the database. It is not being executed for the final time. It's not effective. It's not like it's not final. The transaction is not finalized. So yes, it is not returned to disk. It's in a memory. Mempool remains in the memory. So whenever you do an API call or anything, it reads from the database, which is stored in the disk, and hence the so-called delayed vote will not show up. So technically, I don't think it is possible.
It will be possible if we keep a separate, if we create a separate collection called delay. For example, right now we have, I understand what you just said. We right now have in our database, we have the Avalon collection, then we have a contents collection, and then we have distributed collection. Let's say we created a collection called delayed transaction. So every time somebody upvotes, we, instead of putting it in our blockchain, we put it in the delayed transaction collection. Then we read it from that. So that way, what you just say, that it's written on the disk. But what happens is that within that 3 hours, or within that delayed time frame, if somebody wants to remove that vote, we basically delete it from that. But after 3 hours, we basically look into the delayed transaction collection, and then take it from there and put it in the blockchain. That is probably one way of implementing delayed transaction. So yeah, I mean, without writing it into the disk, we cannot do it. So we need to create a disk write in a separate collection. That's just one solution I am giving.
Oh, okay. So the possible solution is that the so-called delayed vote transaction, it will probably be included as a block as a block in the chain so the transaction will continue be included in the block, and the voter has 3 hours to cancel it off by a separate transaction, and 3 hours later, basically if the vote, if it's not cancelled, it turns into effect. Is that what you are trying to say?
No, it doesn't have to be the transaction itself. Think about how Yeah, what you just suggested, it's also a possibility. You for an upvote, you create a transaction, and for a downvote, it negates that transaction, negates the previous transaction. That's one possibility. But another simpler possibility that I thought, I'm thinking again, it doesn't have to be a transaction. We can just have a collection called delayed transaction collection, and anytime any transaction comes, you just put it there. If it's unique, every transaction needs to be unique. You just put it there, but every 3 hour, you basically all the transactions that came until 3 hours, we just remove it. It's just a queue. It's just a queue, first in, first out. So you just put transactions in there. It's still in the block, but so basically what I'm saying, the block size is increasing within the 3 hours, but then it's decreasing. So I'm making the entire block to be a dynamically increasing and decreasing within that 3 hours. Do you understand what I mean?
I mean, the thing is like the blockchain is pretty much immutable. I mean, once a transaction goes in there, it's forever there. So you can't change the fact. And
no. That you were thinking about in the Avalon collection, but any other collection, I can remove things, right? For example, right now when we do an edit, let's say, think about, I upload a content right now and I had a huge message body. Let's say I had a lot of text, and we have the edit right now, we have the advanced edit, right? In advanced edit, let's say I remove all the information from all the text from my editor, so I am making a new comment transaction. So technically speaking, that we already have, let's say I had a huge amount of text and I'm removing all the text in my update. We are already allowing it, which means that the block size was bigger. After I deleted everything, the block size get reduced.
No,
but
it's not. It's not the blockchain side. The blockchain, the old, regarding the old data, if it gets overwritten, from the user's perspective, it's like as if it's gone. But on a technical level, the old data actually still remains forever in the blocks.
Oh, does it? So on the contents collection,
yeah, it does not modify the state of the blockchain itself. It is just the indexes. The blocks are completely separate from the indexes.
No, I'm not talking about the blocks. I'm talking about the contents collection. Inside our Avalon block, we have multiple collections, right? The blocks collection is always same. But what with the contents collection? In contents collection, you modify the data, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about changing the blocks. Blocks will always keep its state, but no hardcore data is going into the blocks, right? But the contents collection, we are modifying it. So what I'm talking about, the delayed transaction, we can create a collection like that, modifiable collection like that. That's what I was proposing. Anyway, we can I'll think more about it. I understand what you said. I think it's possible. It's just technical so it's not probably like very straightforward. It needs to have some sort of complication like that. But do you understand me, TechQuoter, what I was talking about?
The one thing is that regarding the editing of the metadata of contents is that if once it gets overwritten, yes, the stuff in the contents collection is overwritten as well. But anybody who knows which block the old data is in the blockchain, anybody can basically key in that block number in a block explorer or whatever transaction ID that is associated with, and basically see whatever original metadata it was previously.
Right. No, that's fine. That I totally understand. But from a user experience perspective, from the front end, we will be able to allow removing votes or doing some other stuff. We need to think more. I mean, we need to think more. Rather than just talking, I'll probably have to write the specification of it. But I think it's possible, because right now we are doing it. It's possible for us to change. We are overwriting contents, we are overwriting accounts. So all the other collections except the blocks is actually modifiable right now. So we can probably use the same sort of method to do it, but I need to think more about it. Anyway, so actually, Duke, the whole point is, this is the challenge of decentralized database, because because we have to keep the state, because as TechCoder mentioned, because within that 3 hours, lot of things can be hacked. So anything that goes into the blockchain, what's good about it is that it's immutable. Nobody can change it. That's the beauty of blockchain. But if we are not putting inside, then there's a chance that it can be muted. It can be changed. So which it may cause some security issues and those kind of things too. But anyway.
Interesting.
But there
I
are
never really thought
possibilities.
about that. How like it'd be kind of like having a temporary agreement of rewards, right? Is kind of what you're shooting at. We go have a flex period. Let's call it a 3-hour flex window where you can adjust things. But I never really thought about the fact that because it is like a flex window, that would give greater opportunity for misusers to find exploits. That's a great point.
Yeah. Because if you, let's say, within that let's say what I was proposing, let's say you upvote, or not proposing, think about right now what we do. Let's say you today's video, when you're uploading, you're giving like, okay, these 5 people have attended today's discussion, and we discussed this, right? But then 3 hours from so when you do that information, that metadata, is going into the contents collection inside our blockchain. And in the blocks collection, all we keep that, okay, there was just a comment transaction. So we treat the text as a comment collection. Now we are basically already allowing that, okay, you can actually, tomorrow you come and, okay, no, I want to add some more information in my in that video. You are adding like your Instagram link, or whatever, all the other things that came to your mind tonight. Now, the way our implementation work, I think it creates a new comment transaction. So that means that editing that you did, it will be a new transaction that will go into a new block tomorrow. But the contents collection is basically the same content will be updated. So that's the part I was thinking about hacking. But what may happen is that, so what I was proposing is not even making the first transaction. I will wait for the transaction. Even for the first transaction, I wanted to wait 3 hours. That may have a risk that within that 3-hour window, somebody can change it, or well, I mean, they won't be, right? Because it depends on, like, if like a bunch of miners or leaders collude together and want to extend the longest chain, because it did not go into the block, it's possible to change it. But that's why probably what TechCoder was suggesting, maybe we need to make a transaction, even if we
3 hours. Why 3 hours?
No, it doesn't have to be 3 hours. It's just delayed transaction. Let's say,
But if I'm really onto DTube, I post my stuff and I check the other videos and I give my upload and my download. I do a comment stuff. I work around 30 minutes, maybe an hour on that. So after an hour, I abandon and do other stuff in my life. So why do I need 3 hours for that?
No, it's not about 3 hours. That's just an arbitrary number. The idea is whether we can have a delayed transaction. Let's say you do something, it immediately does not go to the blockchain. Rather, it waits for a period of time and then it goes into the blockchain. The reason it's being said, let's say right now, the reason is important. The block size has a limit. So if let's say there's 1 million DTube users, if 1 million DTube users right now tries to vote something, that's a lot of transaction that we cannot process at a time. So right now we put everything in a mempool and we process little by little. So that is already delayed because we use a queue. But what we were discussing is a technical discussion, is that whether it's a possibility that we can delay certain action for tomorrow. Let's say something happened today, but we process it tomorrow. That 3-hour window is just I just used as an example. It can be anything. That is not anything to do with user, but what I was discussing, that if we technically are able to do so, there's some interesting user experience we can give. For example, right now we don't allow removing votes because of that situation. Because if you vote something, you have given, let's say, 50 kilo kVp and you voted it. Now because you do the 50 kVp, that already has an effect on your DTC token, already has an effect on your how much VP you own. So it's an irreversible process. So if we can delay the transaction for a certain period of time, it can be 3 hours or it can be 5 hours. Those are again arbitrary numbers. If we had the ability to do so technically, then we can actually make a reversible process. Is just I'm thinking about it, that whether it's possible. It may not be possible, as TechCoder was mentioning. It may have some challenges, and I can also think of some challenges, but part of my mind says that it's probably possible. We need to explore more. Anyway, we can move on to some other topic. I was just like exploring.
Does the editing? Well, I can edit my text on a video, and I can edit that 2 or 3 days later. I can edit anytime.
Yeah, you can edit your text, because that has no effect on the economic model. Anything that has effect on DTube token or the VP, that's you cannot change it. Because
why can't I change my comments then? That's the same thing, no?
No. Because comments right now, it's not the same thing. Duke, can you elaborate why you can change comments but you cannot remove votes?
It has to do with the payout of the rewards model, and the fact that when you create a transaction, your vote goes directly to the blockchain. It's unmutable. At that point, your vote is done. That's it. Can't change it ever. The content, what he's saying is the collection of content goes into a separate category with a reference on the blockchain. So there's a reference to the content, and the content remains editable. So you can edit your comments and whatnot, and then the blockchain just references to the edited version, as I understand it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
What I think Brishtit would like to do is allow editability of voting. So when you vote on content, that isn't your final say, that you could come back using the 3-hour mark within 3 hours and be like, oh shit, this guy got mass flagged. He deserves a bigger vote than what I gave him. And you could support him that way, right? It opens up the...
But that's getting more and more complicated for nothing. So if
yeah. I mean, it's not something that we want. We're just exploring. It's not. It's not that I want it right now. all you are saying that it's a possibility, technically speaking.
The interesting part I heard just in the beginning was like you said the vote would be like connected to the time watching the video. So if I vote for a video I don't even look at, the vote will be less high than
Yes.
a video I watch the whole video. No? I think that is more important of affecting than changing the vote, in my opinion.
Yes. No, I totally agree. That is more what we are discussing. This is not a priority. It was just something, a technique, but it's important for many other reasons. It's whether technically it's possible. You know, some things are not possible versus something is possible. But you are right. What actually we need, if in Facebook and Instagram, I actually recently have been looking into their metric, that how do they rank videos. One important thing that they do is that they have this a score called engagement ratio. So basically that is exactly what one engagement factor is, that how much time you spent on a video. Right now we don't have a tracking mechanism for it, and I think it's very important, because think about someone coming there, quickly jumping off to a different page, versus someone staying there watching the entire video. I think these behaviors have values, right? If we could, if more and more people are watching the video, the entire video, for longer time, that means that most likely that content has value. Otherwise people wouldn't watch the entire video, right? So if we could track how long users watching a video, that actually tells us the quality of the video. Because if a video is not good, most people will not watch it till the end. So somehow if we can collect the engagement time of users, not only on video, it can be also with channels, that on what channels people spend more time. So that actually, these are very important, valuable information that can tell us about the trend, that can tell us about the quality of the contents. And all the social media platforms do it, but because they're centralized, it's easy to do. But we probably can do it, and it's possible, I think. But as I mentioned, that anything on blockchain is difficult because of everything. Where do you store all this information? That's the problem. All these things, fancy things I'm talking about, they need to be stored somewhere. The problem is we cannot make the blockchain arbitrarily huge, because if the blockchain becomes bigger, that's a problem too. So we are already following a semi-decentralized model, where like part of the things, we only have 13 leaders, which is pretty centralized if you think. But we made it centralized so that we have stability, because a lot of people are depending on it. So we are following a semi-decentralized or semi-centralized model. So maybe we can do it, but the whole point is those engagement, like how much time have spent, if we could collect, that would be wonderful. That would give better user experience. Also, I like on YouTube right now, they allow, you can segment a video, right? That you can basically create chapter of your video. I think eventually we would like to have that too. For example, think about it today. In our already 1 hour have passed. We have talked about multiple things. We talked about censorship. We talked about the issue that somebody is talking with Nana. Then we moved on to this technical complexity of delayed transaction. Now we are talking about engagement time. So we already talked about 3 different topics, right? And if we could create chapters just like on YouTube we can do, and we have like a specific time frame where to jump, so it's kind of like having four chapters within a single video. So that would be awesome. YouTube already does it, a lot of other platforms already does it. If we do it, we are already beating LBRY, right? A lot of other platforms, any new things we add, if it increases our user experience, we will beat other platforms and our coin value will go up. It's just a technical who is gonna do it, like, because we are only few people. I mean, but if we do it, everything will add value to our platform.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brish.
Another question.
Yeah,
Yes.
the main thing I hear is you compare lots of stuff with like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and stuff. I'm not interested in that. And as Tech Coder mentions here, the legally part if the of the futures of YouTube and whatever the patents in this. Why don't we just go and brainstorm what really would be possible and just do the best we can to have our own better experience and of all the things. It's like you said, you watch the video, more watching time, more VP is in the votes. Can change the comments anytime, and maybe even give the possibility to update the vote. Like I realize that sometimes the slider of the vote is just doing his own life, and then on the end I realized the vote is a lot less than I actually intended to vote, or too high.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got at least a minute to adjust that. That's not possible, stuff like that, you
Right.
know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested what how YouTube or Facebook or Instagram is working, because I never use that. So
No, it's not about how those are working. It's about any it's not about Instagram, YouTube. It's about anybody doing interesting things. You should know it. I mean, if you know it, how they have done it, you have a power to do so. I mean, I just use those names because everybody uses it. Also,
yeah,
they are
I
also not
understand. It's
ignorable.
no offense at all. I understand. Uh, to me, it would be more important that you actually check what would be for you the perfect the thing to do for a platform showing videos. But you're working for DTube, you're working for One Love DTube because you want it to be perfect. So what's your perfect version without thinking of YouTube and Instagram? Because
Yeah.
I'm sure if we find it together, you probably find something it's even better than all the YouTube and Facebook and Instagram stuff. And then we got the
Yeah,
people,
I
because
agree.
the people
I
realize,
agree.
oh, this guy, he just found it. You
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that is very true. Sometimes what happens is, like, if you just follow somebody else's, you just make copycat things. But no, the whole point of bringing that is that something that I like, like some stuff that people like. For example, what I was mentioning about YouTube is that channel content segmentation, I find it very useful because I typically talk a lot, I also watch a lot. So I follow the channels which has, let's say, a video of 1 hour long, and I don't want to watch the whole thing. It's very useful for me to see, okay, what is in that 1 hour thing, and maybe this segment I'm more interested, so I focus on that 15 minutes, but then I skip. Then that's just one functionality that I was thinking about. But you are right, ultimately we need to narrow down and we need to make our priorities. And coming back to that, I guess right now what TechCoder has done in terms of tipping, that's a priority. The front end uh, design, I think, need to go through multiple iteration. But yesterday, after talking to TechQuarter, what I understood is the whole idea is like, okay, if I'm giving 50 VP or 50 KVP, then 10% of it I can give as a tip, I think, which is a very interesting feature. And I think TechQuarter already has implemented it. All we need to do is to just create the front end, maybe go through multiple iterations and test it on our test chain, and maybe then convince other leaders to get it in the main chain if it's beneficial. So that's already in our hand. And then I already added the multi-tagging feature. We need to test that also, whether I have done it right, because I haven't tested it. Then today we discussed whether we can, I think we use the embedded player. So whether we have a way of figuring out the engagement time. I think it's possible. It's not that hard. It's very easy, like when a user jumps into that page and when a user leaves that page, the difference of that would be how much time they spend on that page. Now the question is, how do you store that information? So yeah, a few things that we talked about. Sometimes I just brainstorm, and it's fun to brainstorm, right? Thinking about all these different things, but we'll have to ultimately write these things down as issues and make priorities. It's good that we are recording these videos. We can always come back and see what we're discussing, and then continue doing so. What do you think, Duke?
Hello.
Like, what should be our priorities? Yeah, Shubha was saying something earlier.
Yeah, Brishti Bhaja, I also tell something. Actually, don't take it personal. First of all, maybe I guess you understand Bangla language. Am I right?
হ্যাঁ বাংলা তো অবশ্যই বুঝি হ্যাঁ
Thank you so much. Actually, sorry, Duke. Actually, sometimes I also face little bit problem because actually আমি যখন বোঝানোর চেষ্টা করি আমার ফিলটা, তখন দেখা যায় যে আমার ইংলিশটা খুব একটা বেশি ভালো না। দ্যাট ইজ ওয়াই আই can't express my feelings properly. So it's a good Brishti Veja is here. It's really good for me because আমি যদি ওকে বলি
you can say it in Bengali, then I will just explain it in English if that's better for you.
Yeah, thank you so much for a chance. First of all, বৃষ্টি ভেজা, আমি এই প্ল্যাটফর্মটাতে দীর্ঘ 2 বছরের মতো সময় ধরে আছি, এবং যখন ডিটিউবটা লঞ্চ করার আগে থেকে আমি আছি, এবং দীর্ঘ সময়, হ্যাঁ এটা সত্য কথা, আমি প্রথম দিকে এটা নিয়ে এতটা সিরিয়াস ছিলাম না।
আচ্ছা
কেন সিরিয়াস ছিলাম না আসলে এটা আমি আগে বুঝতেই পারিনি যে এটা আসলে কি। যেমন আমি জাস্ট অ্যাজ আই এম এ ব্লগার, আমি জাস্ট হচ্ছে মানে লেখালেখি করতাম। দেন তখন আমার একটা ফ্রেন্ড আমাকে সাজেস্ট করলো যে তুমি এটা চেক করে দেখতে পারো। বাট আমার যে মাঝের যে গ্যাপটা হয়েছিল সেটা হচ্ছে সে আমাকে ভালোভাবে ইনফরমেশন গুলো শেয়ার করেনি। সো যেটা আর কি এখানে সব থেকে বড় সমস্যা আমাদের হয়েছে, যেটা লোকাল ইউজারদের হয়েছে আর কি, আমাদের কান্ট্রি ইউজারদের হয়েছে, যে তাদেরকে আসলে ইনফরমেশন গুলো দেখা যাচ্ছে যারা একটু ইংলিশ ভালো বোঝে তারা এটা ভালোভাবে পিক করতে পারছে, আর যারা আমার মতো আর কি মানে পার্সন, তাদের জন্য এই জার্নিটা ক্যারি করা অনেকটা ডিফিকাল্ট হয়ে গেছে। কারণ আমি প্রথমে বুঝতাম না যে ভিপি কি জাস্ট মানে ভিডিও বানাইছি, শেয়ার করছি, এইটাই দিছি আর কি। তো ইনফরমেশন ল্যাকিংটা হয়েছিল। পরে এটা আমি আস্তে আস্তে নিজের থেকে নিজের আগ্রহে আর কি আমি এটাকে প্রমোট করার চেষ্টা করছি, নিজের থেকেই চেষ্টা করছি, জানার চেষ্টা করছি। আর সব থেকে বড় বিষয়, এখানে যখন আসতে পারছি অনলাভ ইউটিউবে, তখন ডুকের সঙ্গে আমার কথা হয়েছে, ডুকির সঙ্গে, এবং আস্তে আস্তে আমি বিষয়টা জানতে পারছি, এবং তার আগেই আমার অনেকগুলো কয়েন লস হয়ে গিয়েছে, যেটা একদম সত্য কথা। কারণ আমি আসলে বুঝতে পারিনি। কারণ এখন যে লাস্ট, যেটা গত 2 দিন আগে লাস্ট এয়ারড্রপ পাইছি, আমি এখন মোটামুটি চেষ্টা করতেছি নিজেকে ডেভেলপ করার জন্য, এবং আমি হোপফুলি যে এইভাবে কন্টিনিউয়াসলি করতে থাকলে একটা সময় গিয়ে আমি ভালো রেজাল্ট পাবো। তো আমার যেটা কথা, যে আমি প্রথমে অ্যাজ এ হিউম্যান বিইং, আমি হচ্ছে প্রথমে আমার ইউটিউব চ্যানেলে আমি ভিডিওটা দেই, দেন ওখান থেকে লিঙ্কটা দিয়ে এখানে দেই, এবং এটাই করি কিন্তু আমি। আর আপনি একটু আগে যেটা বলছিলেন যে আসলে ভিডিও, এটা সত্য কথা, টু বি অনেস্ট, যে এখানে কেউ কারো ভিডিও আমি জানি না যে কিউরেশন ব্যতীত দেখে কি না, এটা বলা খুবই মুশকিল। কারণ আমাকে যারা ফলো করছে বা আমি যাদেরকে ফলো করছি, দেখা যাচ্ছে যে তারা বিভিন্ন সময়ে ভিডিও দিচ্ছে। আর সব থেকে বড় বিষয় যে এখানে ভিপিটাই হচ্ছে মেইন ফ্যাক্ট, যার কারণে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে আমি ভিডিও দেখলেও আমার আসলে কোনো ডকুমেন্টস থাকছে না যে আমি তার ভিডিও দেখছি কিনা। হ্যাঁ, একটা অনেক সময় দেখা যায় যে কমেন্টস করতেও মনে হয় মেবি ভিপি দরকার হয়। আমি যতদূর জানি। তো ওই জায়গাটা থেকে আসলে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে হ্যাঁ, সব থেকে বড় বিষয়টা হচ্ছে যে যারা আর কি ক্রিপ্টো রিলেটেড পিপল আর কি, যারা বিভিন্ন ব্লক চেইনের সঙ্গে সম্পৃক্ত আছে, আমার মনে হয় তারা যদি হ্যাঁ ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালি যদি হ্যাঁ ভিডিওটাকে যদি বেশি প্রাধান্য দেয়, আমার মনে হয় যে এখন আমি যেমন অনেকের ভিডিও দেখে চেষ্টা করতেছি যে তারা কিভাবে ভিডিও বানাচ্ছে, কিভাবে তারা কিভাবে চেষ্টা করছে, এখন ওইটা দেখে আমিও নতুনত্ব কিছু শিখছি। তো আমার কথাটা হচ্ছে সরি,
it's getting long. I'd like to know what's going on, if this is going on. Or
Okay, he was actually describing his personal experience and involvement with DTube. So he was actually saying that the idea that we were discussing earlier, that if we could understand, it's hard to track that who is actually watching his video or who is not watching his video, because currently we don't have a mechanism for really knowing that whether people have watched my video or not. And definitely engagement time, or if we could know that people really watched it. And then he also pointed out that people who have less amount of coins or less amount of VPs, it's very hard for them to let's say even comment. Let's say new user comes and then they can't, even though that's very, let's say new user comes and they are watching a lot of video, we're completely missing those interactions right now, because they cannot do anything even if they're spending more time. So because we have become such a platform, specifically in terms of rewards, even if a user putting so much time on the DTube, they cannot comment, they cannot upvote, they cannot upload. So even if a person has the ability to, maybe he's not a rich person, he has the ability to create content and also curate, we as a platform are not really allowing that to happen. And that's why I was probably, every time I mention our target user base is mainly in developing countries. I mean, everybody on USA or big developed countries, people use YouTube, Instagram. They don't care about earning money. They don't care about, they already have their very strong friend circle in all these friend groups. For them to leave these platforms also difficult. On the other hand, developing countries, people are still not that much engaged in all these platforms. So in one way, they are looking for similar platforms where it's not overwhelming already and they can start on their own. And on top of that, if they can also earn tokens, that would be awesome. So we should grab that opportunity is all I mean. So by saying so, what I mean is that that's the reason I want it to be easier for new users. I am okay with giving free coins, and I understand the problem that
এটা সত্য কথা বৃষ্টি, যে এইটার কারণে আমি আসলে অনেক সময় নতুন নতুন ইউজারকে অনবোর্ড করাতে পারি না, কারণ এখানকার প্রসেসটা একটু ডিফিকাল্ট। কারণ এটা তুমি নিজেও জানো, কারণ এখানে দরকার হয় ভিপি, আর তারপরে হচ্ছে কয়েনের দরকার হয়, যার কারণে এটা অনেক সময় দেখা যাচ্ছে যে আমি যে অন্য কাউকে সাজেস্ট করব, তারা যে এখানে এসে কাজ করবে, অন্যান্য ব্লক চেইনে যেটা হয় আর কি, এই এইটা এখানে আর কি এই পসিবিলিটিটা খুবই কম। আর আমার মনে হয় যে আমাদের বাংলাদেশ থেকে, বা নট অনলি বাংলাদেশ, সাউথ এশিয়ান থেকে যারা অ্যাম্বাসেডর মানে এটা প্রমোট করার জন্য যারা দায়িত্ব পেয়েছিল, আমি এই কথাটা প্রিভিয়াস টাইমেও বলেছি, আমার মনে হয় তারা তাদের রেসপন্সিবিলিটি জায়গা থেকে কিছু কিছু দায়িত্ব মিস করে গিয়েছে। কারণ তারা দেখা গেছে যে বিভিন্ন ব্লক চেইনের সঙ্গে সম্পৃক্ত, এবং আমি নাম মেনশন করব না, এখন দেখা গেছে যে তারা অনেকটা সময় আমাকে যদি ভালোভাবে গাইড করতে পারতো, এবং আমরা যে ব্লক চেইন গুলোতে ছিলাম, কারণ আমি মনে করি ডিটিউব কিন্তু অনেক স্মার্ট, আর একটা যারা ভিডিও মেকার তাদের জন্য ইজিলি একটা আর্নিং করার একটা ওয়ে এটা। তো ওই জায়গাটা থেকে যদি তারা যদি যেভাবে হাইওয়ে ফোকাস করতেছে বিভিন্ন ব্লক চেইনে, স্টিম, ব্লার্ট এন্ড এনি আদার ব্লক চেইন, যারা যেভাবে ফোকাস করতেছে, তারা যদি অ্যাটলিস্ট ইনফরমেশন গুলা যদি ভালোভাবে শেয়ার করতো তাদের ইউজারদের সঙ্গে, নেটিভ ইউজারদের সঙ্গে, আই বিলিভ দ্যাট যে এখানে বাংলাদেশে একটা কমিউনিটি হয়ে যেত। তুমি বিশ্বাস করবা কিনা আমি জানি না। আমি আমার পার্সোনাল জায়গা থেকে
Yeah, let me explain. No, let me translate it for other people who are watching. So basically, Shubho actually mentioned some very interesting part, because I mentioned that our target user base, what he was suggesting is that a lot of people were in the platform, but they, first of all, they could not interact because we were slow, and it's kind of difficult for new users to interact in our platform. But another thing is that there was a communication gap, because if you think like the ambassador program that we had, that we don't know anything about it. There's nobody really talking about it, like what is happening. Like we have done it, like started it 3 months ago. How many ambassadors really contacted DTube? Shouldn't there be like a post at least, like what happened with that effort?
I think we have 5 ambassadors within One Love. I'm not really sure what any of them are doing, really.
Duki, my friend, when I come there, I also learning about from you. But my country people not cooperate me for share information purposes. To be honest, I also said this type of word previous time. In this day, if Brishti Veja is not যদিও আমাকে বাংলা না বলতো বা বাংলা না বুঝতো, তাহলে আমি এই কথাগুলো বলতে পারতাম না ভালোভাবে। আর এখানে আমি এসে যতটুকু শিখেছি বা যতটুকু জেনেছি, হ্যাঁ তোমার এখানে অনেকটা তুমি এখানে আমাকে অনেকটা সহযোগিতা করেছো ডুকি, এবং আমি এই জন্য তোমার কাছে বরাবরই থ্যাঙ্কফুল। আর আমি এইভাবে চালিয়ে যেতে চাচ্ছি আমার জার্নিটা। তবে আমি মনে করি আমার জায়গা থেকে যে আমাদেরকে যদি সঠিকভাবে গাইড করা যেত, অ্যাটলিস্ট গাইডেন্স ইজ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট ফর এভরি জার্নি। যদি গাইড করা যায় যারা আসছে, তুমি যেভাবে গাইড করছো আর কি নিজ উদ্যোগে, আমি মনে করি বৃষ্টি ভেজা, আমি কিন্তু তোমাকে হচ্ছে রিকোয়েস্ট দিয়েছি, তোমার যদি পসিবল হয় তুমি অ্যাকসেপ্ট করো ফ্রেন্ড রিকোয়েস্ট।
Yeah, of course.
এখানে
Okay, so Shubho, what Shubho is mentioning is that lot of people who are new in the space, he already has been here for 2 to 3 years, so he at least knows how the cryptocurrency works, or how this space like Hive, Steam works. But there are a lot of potential users out there that he himself introduced to other people, who first of all probably don't know crypto. And even if they, he's not even mentioning people who does not know anything. He is mentioning that there are other Bangladeshi people or other people that he knows that they know a lot, but for them still it's hard to know that how things work. Because one reason is that language, because it's probably one major reason is the communication, that they probably have to watch videos. We first of all probably we didn't have many videos until recently. Like Duke has made a lot of tutorial videos. What he's basically mentioning, we need more tutorial videos, we need more explanation about how things really work. And because of that, he said that he introduced DTube to a lot of people who probably did not continue. And also another thing that he mentioned that I don't think we can do anything about is that some people, not every people are as communicative as other people, right? I mean, even it's just the nature of human being. Like some people just don't like to communicate that much, but we know that without communication, without definitely I personally love communication. Some people just don't love to talk too much. Some people just don't love to comment too much. Some people just, I mean, I totally understand. It's not that everybody does not have to love everything.
I hate
that's the thing. I
communication.
also hate communication, but I just think that it's necessary sometimes. Otherwise, how do we progress as a group? If it's my life, that's fine. But if I'm trying to progress a group towards a certain direction, without transparency and communication, it's hard to move forward. Anyway, dude, do you have anything else to say? I actually also need to leave. You guys can continue.
অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমিও চলে যাব, কারণ আমি কর্মস্থলে আছি আসলে। হঠাৎ করে ডুকির এই শোটা দেখলাম, দ্যাট ইজ ওয়াই আই অলসো কাম দেয়ার। আর আমি এটা তোমার নামটা দেখে অনেক কনফিউশনে ছিলাম যে তুমি বাংলা বোঝো কিনা। সো ইটস রিয়েলি প্লেজার ফর মি যে তুমি বাংলা বোঝো। সো থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ ট্রান্সলেশন পারপাসেস। সো হোপফুলি তুমি নেক্সট টাইম আমাকে কোঅপারেট করবা, আই বিলিভ দ্যাট।
Yeah,
সো
yeah.
ওকে, তোমার সঙ্গে আমার কথা হবে এবং আমি এই বিষয়টা নিয়ে আরো জানতে আগ্রহী। I also interested to learn about more about DTube because I also right now focus my fully crypto career in Steam and DTube purposes. So that is why it's really important for me. I also interested to know about more about DTube. So
Duke, can
hopefully
you?
you also
What's going on,
cooperate with
Brishtit?
me. Brishti Bhajan.
Thank you very much, Shuvo, for your day here. Coming in and chatting.
Okay.
We're just going to round up the end of our show now. Brishtit, it has been awesome having you. Really appreciate you, buddy. And his audio just crapped out. Okay, well, there he's coming back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
So
there we go.
Duke, yeah, I also need to go. So I guess we touched quite a bit of topics, right, today.
Yeah.
At least we know that some of the things that can be our priorities or we can work on, which is good.
Yeah, it's good to know that we have two people working on the future of what we're all hoping to see is come of the platform. TechCoder was hoping to get an API up to show us. I'm not sure if he's going to have that ready to show or not. Brishtit chatting in about what he is speculating for changes. We've got excellent talking points to work on. Yeah, see, it looks like we're having some audio issues in our Discord, guys. Tech, if you're not getting mic, disconnect and reconnect.
Take just said that he has it up. He's going to show something.
Boom. All right, we got count 4,408,862. So we've got a response. Have an API response. Control-Shift-R.
Yay! It's working.
There we go.
Oh wait, TechCoder, did you forward all the content already on the testnet? Awesome. I can't hear him.
He
can you hear
Mike's
me, Duke?
having issues.
Duke, can you hear me?
Yeah,
so
I hear
basically so the idea was we ran the testnet which had only the accounts but no contents. So the idea was that we will push all the content from the mainnet to the testnet. So according to this number, it seems so TechCoder already created this Avalon forwarder to push the content from the mainnet to the testnet, so that the mainnet and testnet is not identical, but it's kind of similar in terms of the contents. It will be just in different blocks or different transaction IDs. It seems like he probably did it.
Yeah, he did. He was playing with that just before you showed up. He was just working on the last step to get it up to show us and had to disconnect his screen.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's showing we're at count 37,887. Good to me.
You should join too, Duke.
I'm planning to. I just need to know how to dual boot my rig. My understanding of operating in Ubuntu is pretty minimal, or Debian for that matter, Linux at all. I can do it, and in the end, I end up requiring help. So, like I mentioned, if you had that little write-up for me, or for us, we'd be able to get Koala, I believe, to help as well. I would be in on it. And I think Tib Fox was mentioning he's going to be doing it as well.
Yeah, he was interested. So I created that gist. Did you look at it? Kind of like an instruction.
I
Whoever you
overlooked that.
take help with. Okay, I'm sending that link again. So basically this should be your start file, and you should be fine. Let me put in the From the Heart now.
Perfect.
So look at this one. So you just change. I also put instructions inside.
Perfect.
So you see how I put the instruction 1, instruction 2, and then couple others. It may need to be updated. So if you have trouble, let me know. It's still not final, but it should help.
Okay, yeah.
Whoever helps you with. So basically, this all you need to do, you need to pull or clone TechCoder's branch, and you just replace your start with this one, and you won't be you will be able to at least observe. You don't have to mine. You can at least be observer. Sync your node, and then if you want to mine, then you have those instruction 4, which may not be perfect yet, but you can give it a try. But at least you can be observer node.
Okay, and I'll need to have like a separate database, correctly, from my other node, correct?
No. It's the same database. Look at line number 13. All you do is give a different name. Look at line number 13. What does instruction line number 12 says? Give it a different database name other than Avalon. So if you do that, then the same Mongo database that you have will have 2 databases. One is already called Avalon, and then another will be created, Avalon testnet, and it will populate there. That's it.
Okay, thank you for that. When I was doing, like Steam and Hive, you enter multiple keys into your config file, and then you have 2 people running on the same node. But anytime I would try create like 2 separate nodes running separately, they would the databases would interact with each other and cause conflict. So this actually looks like we're set up better to run a test net than Steam and Hive is.
Yeah, we actually, frankly speaking, Heymin, what he made is pretty impressive. It's not complicated. It's very simple and very clean.
Yeah.
And
but thing about graphene is that it is way more bulletproof, I would say, than Avalon. Honestly, it's way more bulletproof. It's written in C++, which means it's a bit more difficult to maintain, but it works like much faster. It can be more stable than JavaScript if the devs do a good job at it. And yeah, and all it really all the devs have to do is just to do proper testing and all that.
yeah.
But other than this, yeah.
But according to that line, one of my side project, it's probably gonna take a year or 2. I'm gonna rewrite Avalon with Golang. So that's
Nice.
one of my side projects. So basically, my personal work, I work for Cisco Systems. Basically, I code in Go, so I know Go very well. I just I think I can rewrite it, but it's gonna take time. But if we do so, and yeah, you are right, Take, we don't have a very extensive testing. These are like software related complicated tasks, but those are very important. Right now, there can be a lot of bugs. When we become much more bigger and bigger, those things will be much more bigger issue. That's what TechCoder was saying, is that first of all, it's good the way it is now. But TechCoder, even if you look at Ethereum's development, initially they have written it with Python, but then eventually when they got bigger, they actually moved it with Golang. So I guess maybe eventually we'll do it too.
Yeah.
That's a good
but
point.
Yeah, you are very right.
Show that like other projects have gone through this very same process of, okay, we create something, okay, that didn't frickin' work, we're looking like, rewrite it, how can we change it? Oh, hey, well, we might actually have to change coding languages that we built the whole damn thing on, and it's an option. And you know, we have an example of Ethereum which did a very similar thing and turned out to be revolutionary.
And they're doing the same thing again. They're making Ethereum 2.0, which is completely different than Ethereum 1. I'm not completely, significantly. That's what I saw. We need to have that
different implementations. So there are 4 implementations of ETH2 in like 4 different languages.
Yeah. I actually used to read Ethereum code back then, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. I was very interested in Cardano, but Cardano is written in Haskell, and I don't know Haskell. I think Cardano is gonna go really big. That's probably the one token that is still $1, which is probably has the ability to go even $100. So I recommend everybody to buy Cardano if we are looking for
I got a little insight into that for you. Gentleman that inside my family, I'm not going to say any names, but he invested in Tesla fairly early. He made a whole crap load of money off of the profits. He's bought his family Teslas, blah, 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 blah. He's pretty loyal to following what Elon does, watches everything that Elon has to say. He said that probably about a year ago, he started looking into Cardano because of their position and what they intend to bring forward. And it's the very first cryptocurrency that he has even considered purchasing. He's like, I don't know what the fuck Bitcoin is. I don't understand cryptocurrency. I had to walk him through the process of how to buy Bitcoin to be able to buy ADA and then how to store it safely. All of that. He had no idea. But he doesn't believe in cryptocurrency. He believes in what Elon is bringing forward in ADA. So I believe that ADA has a bit of a future there just because of Elon's interest in it. You know, like there's something to be said, you know, just behind having people back a project.
I don't, it's not, of course, Elon's involvement, Elon will not get involved in something that does not have fundamentals, but mainly it's because of the Charles. Charles was a Bitcoin developer. Bitcoin code, one of the very close developer. Then he was Ethereum's developer. Then he thought, okay, both Bitcoin and Ethereum, it does not have any governance model. Meaning like, oh, we are just setting there will be 21 million Bitcoin. Who said that? Like, you just made up a number 21 million. On Ethereum, okay, that will be a gas fee. So basically there is no governance model that somebody is just making this fixed number. On even on our DTube, if you look at the code on this, we just assume that the estimated number of DTube users to be 30,000, and we're actually using that number. We don't know where did we get those numbers. So all these fixed numbers, eventually when a chain grows or a project grows, you will eventually, these numbers will backfire. That's what happens, right? For example, in Bitcoin's case, 21 million Bitcoin, already 19 million is gone. That means majority of the human beings will never have access to Bitcoin. So it's like rich gets richer, basically. So now Ethereum came, okay, we are not going to have a fixed cap coin. They came up with the idea of, okay, having inflationary based coin where we burn coin instead of, we become like a government. We basically print coin and then we burn coin, so we kind of like control the supply of the coin. But it's still like centralized. So what Tejos and Cardano, these two groups are trying to do, that all these decisions that few people make, whether it can be also done in a delegated proof of stake system, which is why Tejo's team and Cardano's team, if they do it right, the question is, we don't know whether it's possible or not. So Cardano, most of the people, they are academicians. Basically, they are university professors. All other projects, They're all just bunch of software engineers doing their own garage projects. But these people are not like that. They are like, they will publish paper on academic journals, peer-reviewed journals. Then they verify that, okay, whatever they're talking, whether it's valid or not, then they will implement. So they're doing it slow but steady, but when they will be doing it, it's solid. I mean, because they already have proven, they're like academic journals, everything. So from that standpoint alone, how they approach about improvement is not just throwing out ideas and writing bad codes and then backfiring, getting backfired. The way they are approaching, and also the choice of the language Haskell, even though I don't like Haskell, I mean, I don't know Haskell, it's a functional language. The reason people choose Haskell, the functional model, is basically make it to be modularized and easily debuggable. So every choice Cardano has made so far basically tells me that it will take time for them to reach, but it's $1, but Ethereum was also $1 one day. It can go to $1,000, frankly. So who knows? We'll see. There's a lot of like only positive you can think about Cardano. I mean, I cannot think any negative about Cardano.
No, I don't have anything negative to say at all. The only
but by saying all these things, Duke, I want to just add to that. The whole point of me saying all these things, I earlier brought YouTube and all these things. I'm now bringing all these other projects. The idea is not about talking about other projects. It's about learning from other things. Correct, right? We need to have a governance model also in DTube. How do we decide on all these numbers that we're coming up with? Who has the highest, largest stake? So eventually, it's probably a much difficult thing to do, but we need to sort of, let's say 10 years from now or 15 years from now, we are super big. Who makes the decisions? Do we still those 13 people makes? I mean, we're going to have conflict. And when we have conflict, how do we resolve those conflicts? That's why we need centralized model always have problems. We need a sort of decentralized governance also.
Yeah, that's that was basically where I was going to go with it, is the idea of a governance model to be able to decide how we're going to make the changes. We're talking now, and this is leaders talking amongst each other, but we don't really have the ability to enforce the change amongst ourselves. And it should be part of the community's response. Everybody that's a stakeholder should have a say. People that are on the platform should have a say. True democracy. Do we want third-party sharing on the platform? Okay, go to this link and everybody that has an account vote, and we'll go with that decision, is kind of where I believe it should be. As you were mentioning, there isn't a 100% working, decentralized governance model that can't be taken over yet. We saw Steam come into complications relative to their model of how they come to decisions, and consensus being taken over by selling of stake. So that will remain a concern, I believe, for like how we implement it. My personal takeaway is that it should be something greater than just stake. That stake is a great way of determining how much your input is valued, but it doesn't determine your intentions. If you're a negative actor on the platform and you buy the majority of the stake, then you could technically do negative things to the platform. And how do we account for that? How does anybody account for that? How do we stop the negative player from making the changes to the blockchain that then takes control away from the community, which the community is the reason why the blockchain has value in the first place, in my opinion. So that power should be a community thing, not a stakeholder thing.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's kind of a complication of a social chain also versus a regular crypto rewarding functional utility chain. You know, we're a utility chain. Yeah, we're utility token.
No, you just used this word. So you remember the first time I came, I was saying within next 4 or 5 years, now is DeFi, now is NFT, it will be social chain. Social chain, we can be at the top of the wave of social chain, where if we do things right, like everybody will follow us. And I'm including Steam Hive, but they are already yeah, I mean, we can be at that level, at least at that level, and we have the capability to do so. And the fact also that the fact that we also have a front end and we have a consumer base, we have a huge right now, how many active accounts there are, like how many people, at least 500 people I see on Discord server, and maybe 1,000, right? Maybe people 1,000. Dude, do you think, what do you think, how many people use DTube, like maybe once a week or something, at least?
Okay, well, once a week, 150. Yeah, I'm quite sarcastic on that one, but
So you said 150 or 1,050? 150.
150. Not many. For now, what I see, if I check every day for new videos, so we have every day we have about 50 to 100 new videos. Most of them are third party. So, in my opinion, it's not really many people really using DTube, and that dropped since about a week. All this, but I guess
No,
all
I
this.
think I agree. Yeah, that's a correct estimate. 150. That's about it. But that's what I posted today. Like we need when we have 1,000 very diehard people. Like I know that these 150 are diehard in some way. I mean, even though probably they are probably using other platform to upload their videos, but they do it very consistently. But when we reach 1,000 diehard, when we reach 2,000, 5,000, that's when it will start to take off, and it will take time. But we will grow. I mean, of course, we'll have to grow. Up until 1,000, it's always a struggle.
That's one of the reason I actually said before that we might have to stop looking what others do and just brainstorm our own needs. What do I really need? What do I want to a platform, a video platform has to look like and has to be usable. It needs to be simple. It needs to be beautiful and effective. And if we find that tool, the sport will take over instantly all over the place. For now, it's just people coming here thinking they can do some money, and
Right.
these
Exactly.
decentralized platform is not that. We can use that for a lot more, even governing. It's just like the people haven't realized yet. For now, they're just coming here and thinking, well, I can copy paste my video here and do a little money. We need to get
Yeah,
far
so we
away
need
from that.
we need to create the sense of community. You are absolutely right, and that's why, I mean, that's why at least this what we are doing now is important. And yes, that's probably sometimes we don't understand. One thing that I personally am a content creator also. That's why I understand the pain of content creators. What happens is, like, Haymin, probably he's not a content creator. He does not understand the pain of the content creator sometimes, even though he's very great in many aspects of other aspects. And that's probably a problem with leaders sometimes. Other leaders, not only in DTube, I have seen it in other platforms also. Because if you yourself are not the consumer of your own product, then you have a hard time to understand your own product. You know what I mean? and Duke is probably the best in terms of content creation. At least he understands as a leader. His perspective about the platform is probably better than even me, because I am also more interested in the development side. But ultimately, we are, for example, somebody making Ethereum versus somebody making DTube is different, because Ethereum is not a front end facing, customer facing app. On the other hand, DTube is a customer facing app. So what you just said, dude, is that we to basically crypto people are probably typically bad with those sort of things. We understand as a social media platform, we ultimately need. That's why probably I also talk about YouTube, Instagram, because why does all these thousands of millions of people go into this use Instagram or TikTok? I definitely agree with you 100% that we need to be thinking about on our own, not copycatting. But I'm just asking these questions. Why do, for example, an app like TikTok gets like billions of users in like over three years, for example? Go ahead.
People following an alpha. It's always one person who decides, and everybody's running behind. I don't know exactly how it is working.
No, I don't think that's the reason. You actually already mentioned it. The reason is the ease of use, the user interface. So the purpose of it, because it's easy to use, it's what everybody likes watching videos, short videos, more meaningful videos that somebody can associate. As you mentioned already, that most people on DTube are like very money focused. You cannot reach out to kids. Don't care about money, right? Kids or teenagers don't care about money that much. Like, you think about, even I, when I was 21, 18 years old, I just liked cat videos. Like, I did not think about money that much. You grow up, then you start thinking about it. And I'm just saying that the diversity of contents we don't have, which we need to have, which actually requires to attract different kind of people, different kind of age groups. And that's why we need people like Shuvo, like where Shuvo was earlier, and we need people like him. And also he talks about DTube with other people, and we need to communicate with all these people and provide a platform where it's easy to do in many ways. Definitely, earning mechanism is something attractive about DTube. That's, I'm not ignoring. Of course, what are our, no ad is a big say. We can earn tokens that can be exchangeable and earn money. That's a big say. No censorship. That's a big say. We are already right on three very important aspects. What we are falling behind is probably not falling behind, we need to be working on, is that how we can make it better user experience in terms of economic model, in terms of all these fancy designs, maybe have phone apps, and more accessible. Another last thing, marketing. I think we're very poor at marketing, and we need to up the game. I am also not good at it, but I think marketing also has changed. The way people market now is about going to the social media platform and talk about ourselves. The one thing we are doing right now, and we need to be doing it more and more. More people need to be doing it. So we need to have that exponential amount of conversation going on.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's the big reason. And I might want to say my statement earlier that I hate communication was sarcastic. I love communication and the complexity that it holds. I actually think the more we talk about it, even if we're saying things that aren't approvable by everybody, the more we get the word out, the better it'll be. Because if I say something that some developer doesn't agree with and he decides to prove me wrong, it may just very well be the feature that we all want be developed, right? That's kind of how I look at it. You know, prove me wrong. You know, I would love for all of my concerns and worries, FUD, to be proven wrong. And I don't think that can happen if I don't express my opinion.
Yeah, but the future is decentralization. The future is IPFS. All this, it's just not the people are not aware of that yet. We know where the most people we work around here know that this is the future, and we're working on the future. So we may have to concentrate a little more on that. And even if it's hard to get the people in, that's the thing. We need an application. You just push one button and it does everything. It registers your video. You can edit your video, and then it's put on the chain just with the one button push. That's the future. Decentralized on an IPFS without needing Google, Amazon, or whatever. That's we going away from that, but it will take years. It's not made in 1 year or 2 years. I talk probably about
Exactly.
something like 5-10 years from now. We have to concentrate on that one. That's what I'm here. That's what I hear when I listen to you guys. What you want to implement is something for the future. So that's the other reason I said we don't have to see what Facebook, Instagram, or whatever is doing, because that's not the future. They're going to lose. They're going to lose
Right.
a lot,
Yeah.
but that's not today, not tomorrow. And then they don't realize it yet. And the people following there, they will realize one day that we need that they need something decentralized. That they need something they can adapt their own touch, feeling, something, but not
Yeah, I
not
totally, I
given.
totally agree, and that's that. I totally agree, 100% agree, and that's why sometimes it's hard to work with people where their sole focus is why it's not happening right now, right? And sometimes things take time. Some technology is not available, and me and Takeover was actually, you just mentioned IPFS. We were actually discussing earlier. I shared one um, thing. So actually, there's already this company called Textile.io. So they are basically working on whether everybody can host their own content, meaning like they want to run IPFS node in every phone. So basically, every smartphone will run its own IPFS, and everybody will host their own content. And I think what dude you are just saying, that's where the world is going. So nobody will, if you think about, we are giving up all our data to all these big companies, and these companies are basically selling our data, making billions of millions of dollars. And people will, in 10-15 years, people will realize that we are giving the most important thing about our lives. We are giving up this data for free. And this IPFS is going to save us basically. So no, we have a mechanism already. It's still not perfect. We need probably high-speed internet. We need more connectivity, but that's the future. When we have high-speed internet everywhere, everybody is connected. Even your car is connected. Even if everything is connected, then your smartphone can host your data. You don't have to give up your data. You don't have to worry about your privacy. You control your own data from your whatever device you have. You don't have to give it to anybody, and you can be still secured, encrypted, and you can be participating. But that's like the future, and we have the infrastructure to be the leader of that in many ways.
But that
Because
that's the reason why I joined the decentralization. It was just a little too early, because most people don't get the message what this tool actually is yet.
But when you see how the big control is implemented today from governments, banks, and whatever, trying to control the internet, the only thing we can count on is the decentralization and working on that. That's the only way we can go away from the big control.
All right, there was a nice chat. What time is it there, Duke? What time is it there, dude?
7 a.m. here.
I am at 4 p.m. here.
I am 10 a.m. What about Take? Where is Take Coder located? Where are you located, Take?
It's 11 p.m. for Tech Coder. Or Malaysian Prince. Not being serious. Joke. I don't want anybody taking that seriously. That could go really badly. Yeah, we're not royalty here. We're just dudes.
No, but everybody is royal.
Tech Coder saying, "Don't get me arrested."
Police is on the
way. You really actually have to be careful with that. The prince battles over there, between all the different, it's different for each country, but they're all like in some serious turmoil with the religious factions, and then the families in power with their stature being, ruling parties and whatnot. That whole thing is so crazy, man. Anyways, a great chat, guys. And again, our Mr. DTube, Tech Coder, I'll call him Mr. DTube. That one will stick. I'm not going to let that one go. Brish Tit, fellow developer, leader on DTube. Really trying to help us expand where we're going as a platform. With us today, we had Shuvo sharing his opinion, his story of complications, how communication is a fundamental for us going forward, and the dude emphasizing decentralization, a gentleman that may not fully understand the blockchain, but I believe he, like myself, understands what it means for the future of everybody and the internet.
By the way, I'm just a dude, no gentleman here.
We're all
You're a gentle dude. Gentle dude.
I'm a gentle dude. Okay, I can live with that one.
A humbly gentle dude, I might add. Just a dude.
Yeah,
you're the dude, not just a dude.
I wanted to leave all that crap behind me, so I came back into the belly of the beast because I thought with this decentralization that some humans already understood what's going on, and that we can use a tool like that to really change society. Well, we actually have to kill society and rebuild it completely from the ground with a big revolution. And we are creating a tool you can use that for, actually.
And now you know why dude is so interested in decentralization and our technology. Down with the system, guys.
Well, it has to be like that. No fucking 1984 or Brave New World. That's just crap. We have to avoid that. And we have a tool in our hands. We could do that, actually. It's just the selfish ego of humanity stands in the way for now. It's like we need all the leaders to understand that we don't need a third party implementation here on DTube. So we can't get that because some think no, we need that. So that's this selfish ego. It does not really understand how it works. We will get there, I'm sure.
I think here we all agree with the ideology about. I mean, even though I like, I had a conversation with Heyman. I mean, I don't know whether I should bring this, but I don't know whether he will see it. But anyway, so he actually is not a firm believer in democracy. So according to him, he's a believer in benevolent dictatorship. I don't know whether he has changed his mindset, but that actually concerned me and still concerned me, because the idea that a dictator can be benevolent, I totally understand. It's sort of like this: okay, you are the king figure and you make the decisions. And me personally, history has never shown at any moment that any dictator can be benevolent. And if you want to create an organization and community, it will be hard if you have that mindset, unless because there's a reason why democracy is, I believe in democracy, is that where I'm not saying everybody's equal or everybody has even equal say, because everybody has different amount of information, everybody has different background, everybody will have different opinion, but at least a platform where everybody can say and everybody's voice has value, and that's how a platform grows. And when we're talking about decentralization, most of the platforms like Facebook, Instagram, they don't really foster that sort of environment where it's centralized, not only just technical perspective, it's also centralized from a philosophical, sociological, and political perspective, that everybody does not have say in many decisions these platforms make. So my interest in Bitcoin, my interest in cryptocurrency, of course, not all of them are perfect, but my interest ultimately arose or emerged from that, okay, this is the future where everybody will have a common currency, everybody will have a platform where everybody will have a voice, which resonates more with sort of democracy or democratization of human freedom of speech in some way. And my vision of DTube sort of aligns with that. And I don't know whether all leaders that we have same sort of belief, and if it's not, that's also fine, because I personally work in Silicon Valley. I work in a very corporate, very centralized environment, and if that's your goal to make, you can make it. But if you are using decentralization, you are using IPFS, you're using Bitcoin, or you're using the power of blockchain, I would rather create a place or create an app where the more decentralization, not only from a technological perspective, also from the community perspective, also from the democratic perspective, those things are more enhanced. I don't know how eloquently I could express what I meant, but leadership matters, and ultimately we'll see how it turns out. But at least we have a way of we have many ways to solve it, and that's why I brought the idea of decentralized governance. If decentralized governance does not happen, or let's say all the good things we want to do, they don't get merged, they don't get taken after all these efforts we are making. That will be sad, right? And we'll have to think some alternative situations in that case. But by saying so, everybody has a right to. Yeah, I actually even have transcripts. I mean,
it's
because ideology ultimately matters. Yeah. But
I do believe
sometimes, I mean,
it's possible. I don't know that it's really possible inside a decentralized system, though. Like a benevolent dictatorship, right? That kind of goes against what decentralization stands for.
Right.
To me, this decentralization, that thing we have here, concerns me in the point too that it could actually be used to really control the people in the way, because anything you do is unmutable. So if you did something wrong or in the thinking for society or the people who are controlling, it always will be there. It could be used for exactly the opposite of what I have in mind. That's the one part I'm actually checking and really observing where this decentralization is going. Because it is also a tool who could do a lot of harm to a lot of people. Like just
yeah, that's a good point. But it's probably not only decentralization, it's probably also internet. You see, like, for example, if you look at Me Too movement, like somebody who has done something, let's say, I'm not saying it's all bad, it's a lot of things, like, because anything we do, we post online these days, and this can be used against you, even though you as a human being might have changed over time in terms of people. And that's why that's also applies with Heyman, like that. The characterization that I say that he believes in benevolent democracy, because that's what he told me when we were talking about democracy and dictatorship and how things should be run. But it may be he said it at that moment, it may not reflect his ultimate ideology of how he wants to run everything. Or so what I mean is, like, you can use this because because now that everything has a record, you can use it against other people. But at the same time, how else we should go forward? I mean, it's probably better. What I mean, it's not immutable. It's not immutable, meaning like we cannot go back and change the blockchain. But that's just life also. I cannot just go back to the past and change some bad things I have done, right? The only thing I can do is that in future I can promise that I will never do it. Or I will never, or I change myself and I prove it so, right? And blockchain also has it. If you have said something, if you have done something wrong, then make another video, correct it. If you have posted something wrong, then admit it. The problem is when you don't admit and you continue to lie, right? Or you don't change. I am totally sympathetic with someone who has done terrible things, but he is admitting it, and then he's trying to change it. He's being honest, right? And we should always give people chance. And you are right, dude, that internet has given this ability that you can somehow use it against other people, even though that person might have changed in many ways. But we are also learning, I guess, as a society, as how we should be using all these tools.
Yeah, the thing I believe Dude is hinting at is the fact that we are essentially required to protect ourselves. When you take the step from Facebook into whale shares as an example, because I see them as kind of similar platforms. Whale shares tries to mimic Facebook, sort of. So when you step from Facebook into whale shares, you move from a protected system to an unprotected system. And I think that's the part that Dude sees can be taken advantage of, because since 3 years ago, when I moved from the odd comment that I would make on YouTube watching videos and the odd post I would make on Facebook, and I went into content creation on our decentralized platforms, I created a trail. That day that I started posting, it created a trail of everything that I've done ever after. And you could actually go back and track where I've come from and where these ideas that I had from other platforms came from through the references that I've left on the chain that has created this track record that could potentially at some point in my future be used against me. You know, it's like, you know exactly where I've lived. If you look at my blog, you could actually go through and look at my pictures and figure out where I've lived for the last 3 years.
True. Yeah.
And because
But
those
do you
are
really think,
hosted decentralized, right? Because I got those on IPFS nodes and they're backed up on other nodes, I couldn't do anything about it even if I wanted to.
But that is,
I think that's the concept dude's trying to say, is that it could go either way, that society almost just needs to really embrace what decentralization means for the future we want to happen. Otherwise, it could get pulled into a corporate control situation. You know, like how there's still 4chan. 4chan's out there. They're talking their conspiracy theories. They're separate from mainstream, but they can't get into mainstream unless one of the corporate entities brings their message forward to then project it, kind of idea, right? You know, it's a weird, you know, the people in 4chan are very careful not to say anything that will expose them. But, you know, me going to 4chan, if I interact with them, I could very well expose myself and not even know that I'm doing so.
yeah. But I think no system is perfect. So we are basically thinking about two systems. One, okay, there's a centralized system where all the data, everything that you do is under a certain entity. Let's say it can be Facebook, or it can be WordPress, it can be Twitter, who have the sole control of your interaction. On the other hand, this open platform where anybody can see it. Now, it's kind of hard. It's hard to tell, like, if, like, which one is better. I definitely will choose the latter, because you are not relying on anyone. Now the question is whether relying on a centralized entity who work for your well-being is good or not. I mean, yeah, it's sort of like, if you think in a real world scenario, think about, you have a kid, right? Like, let's say a kid who is an orphan, who has no parents. He's growing in an orphanage all by himself, versus like a kid being taken care under the custody of a parent. Now, it's also not that simple. A father can be abusive, a mother can be abusive, a mother can be alcoholic. So is a kid growing up with a alcoholic abusing father better than him being in an orphanage? These are very difficult conversations. So the idea is, like, when we think about father and mother, we always think that they will be responsible, they will love their kid, but that's not always the case, right? We know a lot of abusive fathers, we know a lot of abusive parents, and we know that a lot of families get broken. I'm just giving all these examples. That's like, it's just hard to on the other hand, full freedom is also not good. Like, you cannot just let the kid grow in a place where, like, it can be that the orphanage people use drugs and all these things, or they use the kids for trafficking, or so many other bad things we know about the society. So I guess it's always a balance. I guess it's always like, whenever you create a platform, you need to have the right kind of vision. You need to have complete freedom is also probably not good, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's
you always need a
basically
little bit
it.
oversight. Yeah.
Great chat
And
today, guys.
yeah. I also need to go.
I figured I was stopping you there. I was like, if I continue this conversation, you'll talk even longer to me.
I was supposed to actually call a shop. It's also Sunday, so I mean, it's not that I'll have to go, but I better go now.
Alrighty. Well, it's been great having you. I appreciate your insights and what you're helping us build towards. Tech Coder saying bye also. It looks like still having some microphone issues. And the dude.
It's fun working with Tech Coder. Tech Coder is awesome. Let's keep doing what we're doing. I mean, even if we fail, let's say, it's not bad, right? I mean, we're doing something interesting. I'm having fun.
You guys, you especially you, Brish, you talk a lot, but thanks a lot for everything you do, you guys. The Tech, Brish, Dookie, you awesome. You're the founders of something really, really important for the future. I can say that, and I'm glad I have met you guys. Thanks a lot for everything you do.
I second that.
Sure. All right. Bye, Duke. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Brish.
Bye.
Bye, Tech. Much love, guys. Now, just me and Dude's running away to the kitchen.
Yeah.
He's gonna be all alone.
You're not. You have your dog.
I gotta go out for a walk.
Yeah, you see.
Yeah. Now to start my morning routine, listening to Dude pounding on something.
No, that's not me. That's my love. She's preparing the crab.
Oh.
We're gonna eat araignée de la mer, the sea spider, a huge thing. I don't know the actual name in English.
It doesn't sound like anything that I would want to eat. I don't like spiders. Starfish, are you meaning? You eating starfish? Kind of like a spider underwater.
You know, there was a show, a series on DMAX TV, some guys going out with a ship in Alaska, going out to sea to fish some crab, some red stuff like. Wait a sec.
And he came up with one of these sea spiders. I'm looking at images. They look kind of like a crab with long legs and no body. Those are creepy looking. Hi, Hafiz. Oh, he's not in here. Evening, bro. Alrighty, well, that's it for today's stream, guys. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in. If you happen to be viewing still, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that jazz. We're trying to break some subscriber limitations on YouTube. It'll take us a while, but we will get there. Dude posting an image. That's
in
it. Discord.
I don't know the name actually in English.
Yeah. So it's basically a crab.
Yeah, but it's huge. Like in diameter, this one.
Wow.
We have it here. It's about 40 centimeters. It's quite big, actually.
Wow. Yeah, they don't have any pinchers.
Who has no pictures? Pinchers,
pinchers.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, no pincers.
The two front ones. Then you got 8 legs,
and 2 pinchers.
Okay.
The
Just kind of looks from the picture here. There's no pincer. No claw.
Just watch it. It's looking at you. You can see the little dot eyes in front, and then you got the next 2 arms, the closest, the biggest arms. Actually, these are the pinchers. You even can see the claws on it.
Oh, it's a very small little claw. I gotcha. Oh, that's cool.
It looks like legs, yeah, but it's the first 2, the biggest of the legs are actually the arms with the pinchers on it.
Well, you enjoy your crab. I'm gonna go exercise, do my cobra stretch and my medicine ball frickin' core workout and walk the dog and hopefully get this post up directly after that on DTube. So that's it for today.
We'll see each other. Thanks a lot,
Yeah.
Dookie, mate.
Love you, buddy.
Have an excellent day.
You as well. Enjoy your sleep. We're out.